What's up?
Hello.
We are all over the map already having technical difficulties, already having glitches. It's a mess. Welcome back to Tim and Katie.
It was like treating us like we were guests on our own live stream.
It's so weird.
It was weird.
It literally, like, I can't really explain it, but we're here now.
Yep.
Welcome.
Thanks if you're joining.
Hey AJ, what's up?
Welcome.
Welcome. Happy Tuesday. It already feels like it's been the longest week ever. Hold on, let me set some vibe music up here. I have to do like everything from scratch all
It's
of a
like
sudden.
all of our pre-settings were gone.
Like everything just wiped out. We use StreamYard a lot, and we even have like an affiliate link in our description. No one's ever clicked on it, but it's there. Never had a problem with it till we need it to work perfectly, and then everything goes wrong. But that's typically how technology works for us anyway.
Usually the goofs are like just user error, but that was weird.
That was us.
Oh well.
Or no, that was not us. That was the opposite. User error is us. That was the technology problem. Anyway.
I think it's all good now.
Anyway. All right. So everything is spooky themed for this live stream, obviously. We got the smoke around us. We got the red thumbnail. We said when
I'm wearing Ghost.
You are wearing Ghost. I'm wearing Laurel's House of Horror and Fright Farm, so you can tell we're showing some hot love. The last time we parted ways, we all said that when we came back, we were going to be travel focused. That is still the plan. We did not get too many halfway to Halloween events, as I think AJ knows. Oh, thank you. AJ said he had a gift for us, and then we weren't able to pick it up because we didn't attend Laurel's House of Horror.
Yeah.
Oh, and Dark Acres, what's up, guys?
Thanks for sticking it out through the error. It was not going live.
You know
it was
what?
Like keeping us behind.
It probably won't be our last one.
Yeah.
Probably won't be our last one. We are just legendary about how
we're
bad
just really great with technology.
So anyway, when we parted ways last, we said we had, if you remember, we had the Making the Monster series where we had a bunch of wonderful, glamorous guests on, all in the haunt industry, various people we've met over the years who we know have positions where they are doing different things from us. And that was really cool because we got to talk to a lot of people who were specialized in those trades. Having said that, when we wrapped up with Becky, I think 3 weeks ago, we were about to go on a trip. There was supposed to be content from that trip, by the way. We could talk all night about the things that didn't go according to plan over the last couple of weeks. I got sick. No content was shot on that trip. Those were two different problems. I didn't get sick on the trip. I got sick after the trip. So we are not where we expected to be at this point. But I will tell you this. We did get tagged in the Halfway to Halloween challenge, which has been making its way around. I think I believe it is Roxbury Haunters officially, but Haunt at the Roxbury is their home haunt. And they have a YouTube channel, they have an Instagram channel. I'm not sure if they have a TikTok or other platforms because I tried to do my homework and I couldn't find them. We're not on TikTok, so I would never know. But Haunt at the Roxbury has been very supportive of our channel, which we really appreciate.
Yes.
They tagged us in this challenge, which has apparently been making it. Apparently, it started at like the Fright Reads, maybe not the specific Fright Reads event, but like the spooky book side of YouTube and the community, and then it crept its way into the haunt industry.
Sorry, to my love. To all my loves.
To all the haunts you've loved before.
There you go.
Yeah. So what this is. Basically, it is a series of questions about spooky time. Not necessarily haunts, not necessarily the haunt industry. It's a little bit different from what we have been doing with the live streams and different from what we would typically do with our live streams. But when we got tagged, we happened to be on vacation. We were like, man, we're not going to be home for a couple of weeks. But when we come back, we do have a live stream slot. And actually, we'll talk about it towards the end, too. We have another thing we wanted to do for a live stream that we'll do next week, 1 week from today, to get ourselves back on track with our regular schedule. Yep. Yeah, we do not have a TikTok. We are too old.
We didn't feel like learning like a third platform.
It's not even the learning the platform.
It's like short form content is not our bread and butter either.
Yeah, we do Instagram Reels from time to time, and I've heard a bunch from people who are like, if you have an Instagram, you can have a TikTok because your short form Reels are just going to be short term TikToks. And I'm like, yes, but that feels lazy. Like our platforms are very, very different. That's not to knock anyone who's using Instagram and TikTok as dual platforms.
Do you?
But for me personally, like our Instagram presence, our Threads presence, our Blue Sky presence is already a lot. And then the YouTube is where we kind of cut our teeth. That's all long form content. And then the TikTok stuff, you really do have to tailor yourself to an algorithm. And a lot of people have been very successful in so doing, but the short form content is not where I personally excel. So that's why we don't have one. We just boil it down to we're too old and we don't want to learn it. But we could. We just don't.
Well, at this point, I don't think we can't download TikTok anymore, right?
You can now. It's back on the market.
It's back.
For a while, it was gone, but now it's back on the market.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
I'm glad to hear that people actually do appreciate the Instagram content, though, because
Instagram is great for connecting to people.
It is.
Because you can't, besides like and comment, you know, you don't really engage that much on a more personal level on YouTube, I would say.
Well, except for this. This is why part of why we do the live streams is because we don't get to talk to you guys very often, and this is kind of our way of like connecting. But Instagram is nice because you can post something and someone can directly respond to it and whatnot. So it's cool. And I think also because of what went down and our plans kind of falling apart, sometimes short form content is all we get from a trip. And so like with the Tennessee stuff that we're posting now, I know a lot of people do follow us for the spooky content, which is more than likely why anyone who's watching now is watching. We do a lot of other stuff too. We do travel, we do resorts, we do adventures, we do outdoor expeditions, we do spelunking once. We do like all kinds of stuff.
It was a tourist cave. We did not. I'm afraid of tight spaces.
I'm calling it spelunking.
I'm just saying.
We do a lot of stuff, and Instagram is also kind of an outlet for some of the other stuff. When we don't have enough content to produce a long form video, we produce a short form reel and we'll put it on Instagram. And that's kind of what's happening now with all the Tennessee content. We really appreciate anyone who wants to check that content out. But there will be long form content coming from non-spooky stuff later this summer. Stick around because it real soon we'll be making announcements. Hey guys!
Don't know if you heard us shout you out.
We did shout you out at the beginning, but we did have a lovely time on vacation. Pan, thank you for joining. It literally just came down to I make content plans, and when plans fall apart, I fall apart with them. And then I'm kind of like, if it's not going to be good, I don't want to do it. Like, if it's not going to be exactly as I envisioned it.
We don't want to belabor this too long because we do have stuff to do, but we did have the trip was primarily to spend time with family.
Yes.
And when it became difficult to make content along with spending quality time with family and not including,
we basically just flushed the content.
We just were like, you know what?
We're done. So many pictures. I have so much to post. Still with all that I've been posting on Instagram, I still have more. So there's more coming, but I will say it's not what I intended to do. It's just kind of what happened. And sometimes you make lemonade when you get a bunch of lemons, and that's what it is. So Instagram is our lemonade for the time being.
We have photos and memories.
TikTok is too deep in the lemonade for me. It's luxury lemonade. It's lemonade with other things mixed in. I'm not a chemist.
We use the excuse we're too old. I know we're not that old, and plenty of people can get a handle like technology. We never got in on the TikTok bus, and now we feel like the bus is way too long.
Quite frankly, am having a hard time keeping up with Blue Sky. And I really like Blue Sky because it's what Instagram used to be. Like, it's all user driven and it's very image based. And I'm like, I really want to put more time into this, but where's that time going to come from? I've got YouTube, I've got Instagram. I can't be everywhere. So anyway, that's another reason why. I could go all night on just social media. We do have a halfway to Halloween. We had some questions to answer, and we also have some plugging to do before we get anywhere else. So I'll start by plugging ourselves. Oh goodness, the presentation went away too. Here we go.
Here we go.
So I'll start by plugging us since you're here. Tim and Katie on Facebook, YouTube. Blue Sky, as I just mentioned, we're trying. It's not all there yet, but we're working on it. Instagram and Threads are with the real Tim and Katie, and I think we're kind of a little bit more active on Instagram. I try to be on Threads a little bit, but that's mostly where I put all my sassy thoughts and
hot takes.
And timandkt.net is our website where we post a bunch of blogs. It's getting actually a little bit more traffic than it used to, but generally that is our thought bubble. That is where SEO runs the show.
Sometimes thoughts, opinion pieces. Sometimes there's, well, we did this but didn't make a vlog, so here it is. And a lot of times it's just blogs accompanying. Thank you. A vlog.
So, having said all of that, the other plugs that I want to do before we get into this Halfway to Halloween challenge proper, we missed almost everyone's Halfway to Halloween events while we were on our trip. That was unfortunately like everyone, and I will say this. I will put this out there clear as day. Y'all know when your Halfway to Halloween events are, probably a lot further in advance than you put it on your website. So if you put it out there early enough, we can plan around. Unfortunately, the family made their plan first.
Well,
so
that trip was planned like 11, 12 months earlier. So.
We did have to pretty much forsake, because all the Halfway to Halloweens this year, we missed. We're really tight with Field of Screams, Pennsylvania, with Laurel's House of Horror, and with Lincoln Mill, and we missed all 3 of their events, and it killed us. So, funny you should mention that, Pan. I was going to say that this weekend, this Saturday, is Hera's Nightmares Halfway to Halloween event. They were the only ones to push things back a little bit. So their Halfway to Halloween is late, but it is happening this Saturday. We will be there, and you should too. Yeah. Hera's is a great little haunt in Westminster, Maryland. It is easy to get to if you live anywhere in the DMV. It is a haunt inside a mall, but it's so much more than that. And once you go, you'll see why. It is pretty incredible.
Yep.
So we will be there for that. We will be vlogging. I'm not sure 100% what the content plan is for that day. We're kind of figuring that out right now, but it will be a fun day, and we're excited to partake.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say, and we just found out about, well, technically we've known about this, but
it was officially
announced the other day, yesterday, is Laurel's House of Horror is doing a second summer event. Now, Pan is going to kill me, but we will unfortunately not be able to attend this one either because of travel plans that we will be announcing shortly.
Yeah.
However, they will be doing in July a Purge event, a Purge-themed or Purge-inspired haunt event at Laurel's House of Horror. You guys gotta be there for that because we need to live vicariously through you. It is gonna be amazing. I can already tell based on everything that I've seen going into this. Yeah. So those are the things. Yes, everyone should be there. I'm assuming, AJ, that you're gonna be acting. So if you're not acting, you should still go. But if you're wanting to act, you can also act there because I don't think there will be much competition that weekend.
I mean, I said first of its kind. Don't quote me on that. There could be someone else.
I'm sure
in the country,
someone else,
but definitely the first of its kind in the area.
In the DMV, yeah.
Very cool.
And I don't think, especially in as you say, the region, the area, the DMV, I don't think we've ever had a haunt this late into the summer, regardless of theme. So
I think most haunts in like July are very much in build. They're in updates, they're in whatnot. So to be able to have an event and then turn it around, by some, mid-September, it's pretty bold. But we know the team at Laurel's works tirelessly. I'm sure they'll be drinking all the caffeine they can to get through it. But
Frankenfuel.
Yeah.
So the other thing about both Hera's and Laurel's House of Horror is that both are indoor haunts, right?
Yeah.
Hera's is inside a mall. Laurel's House of Horror is inside an abandoned movie theater. So rain or shine, the show's going to go on. But also, because of their unique locations, they are able to do things like this, where like they can do quicker turns. I don't want to say that they can turn something from one weekend to the next and have a completely gutted theme, but like they can do a lot that a standalone haunt fighting the weather elements would not be able to do, which enables them to do cool things like this for you.
Yeah.
So the headline is, show up.
And let us know how because we're bummed to miss it.
We are going to be at Hera's. We're just not going to be able to do the Purge event at Laurel's House of Horror, which again, just absolutely guts me, but it will be, hopefully,
the show will go on.
Hopefully a super fun event.
Yeah.
So, having said that and all of that,
let's get into
more of that. Let's get into the actual reason we wanted to chat with y'all tonight. Hold on, Dark Acres. See,
I know.
I feel like we're very blessed because of our location, because there is a lot within probably an hour or 2 hours of us.
Yeah.
But because there's so much and only 4 weekends in October, I feel stressed out of my mind sometimes. I'm like, how am I going to get to A, B, C, and D in one weekend without discounting some of the haunts we want to see?
And then we always find new places we want to go to. And
this is actually going to be talked about in one of the questions, because, you know, Tim and Katie don't have short answers to any questions.
Obviously, we spent 15 minutes drum rolling to these questions.
All right. So the halfway to Halloween challenge, what I'm going to do is the same thing I did for the interviews that we did. And that is, like, there's 10 questions, technically 9. The last one is kind of a shout out. So 10 questions that we're supposed to answer about spooky season, more so than the haunt industry. I am going to drop each one of those questions into the comments and then pull the comment up on screen so that you know, if you tune in halfway through the question, like, you know what we're talking about.
I don't know.
We're off to a great start. All right. So that said, first of, I guess, 9 proper questions, 10 full for the challenge, is, are you a fan of haunted houses? Gee, what do you think our answer is going to be?
Yes.
We absolutely love haunted houses. And I will say, like, a lot of people define this differently too.
Right.
Because if you start this challenge, start it in the book community, right? So in that community, haunted houses might not necessarily mean haunted attractions, might also mean, like, places that are haunted. Abandoned areas,
and sometimes they overlap.
They do. Places like Laurel's House of Horror have a thriving, and Penhurst, thriving paranormal communities scene, I guess, as well as haunted attraction. It's nice when there's some overlap. I will say I am personally more of a fan of the haunted attraction, because for me, it's the world building that goes on.
And the creativity,
the
artistry,
the Disney style Imagineering, and the architecture. Sorry, imaginative architecture, not like the native. Although the native architecture is sometimes cool too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
you can transform a space into whatever you want it to be, and it's cool and it's spooky, and the acting and the makeup. Yeah, we're a fan of haunted houses.
I do want to shout out to, because Dark Acres is in the chat, and we met with the team from Dark Acres for the very first time at East Coast Haunters. It's a home haunt right now. It's moving gradually towards being a proper haunted attraction, if you define it that way, proper. And this is a perfect example of, like, what I really like about haunted houses as the industry defines it, is that, like, it's a space to be it can literally be whatever you imagine it to be. There are no rules.
Yeah, and it's often a passion project. So someone is just really into it and putting their heart and soul into the project or the attraction, and often it shows. And it doesn't matter what your budget is. You can have the teeniest, tiniest little budget, but if you've got that passion for it, you're still creating something really, really cool.
I think that a couple of reviewers gave you some grief about saying this once upon a time, but I genuinely think that on some level, like, every haunt reviewer or haunt enthusiast secretly wants to start their own haunt. Like, we all have that drive inside us to, like, oh, if I had unlimited money and a big wide space of property, here's what I would do.
Yeah.
But the reality is most of us are never going to get to that level. So the people who actually do, who, like, put their heart and soul into building something, like what Dark Acres is doing right now, and you can check them out on Instagram. But, like, every haunt in the industry started here. It's just so inspiring to me, as well as, like, it's just fun. Like, when we get to spooky season and haunted houses start advertising, I start getting things in my Instagram feed, like the haunted houses are opening up in a couple of weeks. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. And it has been to us for a long time. Our first haunt proper was, I think, Field of Screams, Maryland.
Yeah.
And then, like, Markoff's.
2019.
All in the Field of Screams, Maryland, Markoff's, and one other that I can't remember, all in the same weekend in 2019. And that was just because we were like, hey, we want to do this fun stuff for spooky season. And we just caught the bug.
Yep.
Like, we've not even been in the game that long, but
no.
Like, we just, it's been a real,
it latched on
an absolute roller coaster ride.
like a curse or something. It's just like it's taken over our lives, and we're quite happy with it.
We
so it's
are.
okay.
Welcome, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
You're just in time for the nonsense. All right. So
Next question.
one question down. The next question, and you guys better be taking notes because I'm gonna throw it back to y'all.
Yeah, feel free to drop your answers in too.
This
Engage.
is a. Oh wait, before we move on, I really like this comment. And Haunt at the Roxbury is another home haunt, and they were the ones who tagged us originally. If you missed the beginning of the live stream, so definitely check them out because not only do they have a thriving home haunt, they also have a pretty significantly thriving YouTube channel, as well as several other social media platforms which you can check out. They should be linked in the description if I did my job right. If I didn't, oops.
They'll be there later.
I agree with this statement though, are the beating heart of the haunted attraction industry because everyone starts with home haunting and we all grow from there.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite ghost story or haunted lore?
This was a tough one. Like I couldn't think of like one.
We're a house divided on this.
Well, I grew up reading the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. If you've seen those books, you probably would recognize the illustrations at least because they're very famous, creepy illustrations. The movie was okay. I had high hopes it was okay. But I grew up reading those stories, and
okay is a strong word.
I mean, I remember like reading them I wasn't even a fan of scary things yet, but I remember reading it and thinking like, oh, this is like the scariest thing ever. And a lot of those stories are based off of local lore or just legends or things like that. Like there's a version of like the Bloody Mary story in the books and things like that. So that's what I came up with, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I do like lore and things like that, urban legends, but couldn't really pick one.
See, the funny thing about your answer is that you were giving me grief about being too general, and you just picked an entire book of very different stories.
But I didn't say you were too general. Your favorite? What was your favorite?
I am being general. I know I'm being general. I love
Oh, that's a good one, Pan.
Black Aggie in Baltimore.
Love a local legend.
I love werewolves. So and to accentuate this, at one point in my life, when I was in college and had a lot more free time, I set out, really and truly, I thought I could do this, to watch every single werewolf movie ever made. I did not even cover 25%, and I put a ton of time into it. Like, werewolves have been a part of lore and books and movies and myth for so much longer than I thought they had been when I started that quest. I think that it's the transformative element of it. Like, I think it's the fact that in every werewolf story there's a bit of mystery, as well as being like just typical supernatural horror. There's also like, any one of us could be the one. Any one of us could have a bite. Any one of us might be one person one minute and another person the next. And I always thought it was cool. Like, there's never been, I'm going to pull that back because I was about to make a huge mistake. There have been bad werewolf movies, but there's never been a werewolf film that I wasn't willing to watch.
There you go.
That I wasn't willing to like sit down and give it a try. So I would just say, like, in general, yes, my answer is very broad, but I will say that in terms of what's your favorite lore, my honest answer is I love werewolves. I also like the Ju-on films.
But that's just like movie. That's just like Japanese horror movie.
Well, there is a grudge house in Japan that is genuinely thought of to be haunted, but not for the reasons in the films.
Just as a shout out in general, it's kind of fun that sometimes something that doesn't intend to be lore becomes lore, and that makes me think of like the Blair Witch and how that movie came out and people thought it was so real that this really happened, and sometimes legends just kind of are born.
We have an escape room in Vegas themed to the Blair Witch.
Yeah. So anyway, great legends.
This is one may result in some different answers than you might think.
Do you plan on Halloween? Well, you say decor, I say decor.
I mostly say it ironically. But
hunting this year. If so, what items do you hope to find? So, we live in a apartment. We do not, unfortunately, have
very
a
small, compact space.
Front yard. You know, there's always the dream of having a house we can decorate or something like that. And we do love to look at them. Like, looking at them is a lot of fun. We make annual trips to Spirit Halloween, Michael's, things like that, just to look. And sometimes little things do come home with us, but we're really, at this point, we have storage.
We're trying to be slightly better this year.
We're trying to not.
It is no secret to anyone who's been watching us for a while that we're big fans of Jackie at Super Enthused of the YouTube channel. And she does this thing every season around now, and I'm no doubt we're going to start seeing this soon. Code Orange. Like, she will go to Michael's or to Hobby Lobby or to Home Goods. I'm trying to think. Target typically drops stuff really, really late, but these department stores or craft stores will typically drop Halloween merch a little bit earlier than anyone else, because the people who really want to start thinking about decorating are the people who frequent those stores, who are very crafty. So Code Orange is this thing that I don't think she came up with, but it's like an industry, like throughout the whole YouTube community. Code Orange is just like, I just found the first Halloween merch, like the first signs of life for the Halloween season. And they typically do pop up at Michael's and Home Goods and stores like that. So yes, we definitely subscribe to the Code Orange. Like, if someone yells Code Orange on Instagram, we're like, where? And then we'll go out and look. Now, when it comes to actually purchasing stuff, as Katie said, we have a limited amount of space. What we used to do, and we tried really hard to do, was build a haunted hallway for trick-or-treaters in our tiny little apartment. And it wasn't particularly impressive. It didn't have to be, because all we had was our foyer. You open the door, you peek inside, you take some candy, that's it. But we've gotten fewer and fewer trick-or-treaters. For a while, like during COVID, that thing was popping off.
Yeah,
like,
weirdly.
People were like, oh, you got to see this. You got to come and see what Tim and Katie have set up. Like, it's so cool and whatnot. And then, like, year over year, I think as people started to be able to get out and do things more, like it lost some allure, and now people don't really come trick-or-treating anymore. It's an apartment complex, so we never really expected much.
Sometimes we see them like going by, because there's right outside of where like an actual neighborhood with houses are, and we're like, well, they've got houses to see, they're not going to come back here.
So the haunted hallway, we slowly started phasing out.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
But we will decorate our apartment to our satisfaction.
What we do now
is no one else sees it.
We're obsessed with Spooky Town. Spooky Town is the Lomax collection that drops every year, and every year they add like 7 new large-scale pieces. This is basically your Christmas village, but a Halloween version. Yeah. And I eat, sleep, and breathe Spooky Town during the spooky season. Now, what you're seeing right here is pretty much the full, the amount of space we have. Yeah. Like, everything is full. I don't think we can do...
We have one more shelf to the left of the Skull Mountain thing, but it's hard to get in one picture. But that's pretty much it.
It is, if you were to see it in person, it is somewhat impressive. And we did produce a reel last year with a little bit more detail on like everything we set up. And Michael's actually liked it. And I was really happy with that. So,
validation.
So that's all I needed to do. But these, I mean, it's cute. It's like, imagine like the little ski lift coming down in the wintertime, except instead of that, it's like a haunted castle.
It's a little boat going around.
They breathe smoke, and like, it's fun to look at. And we will literally just like, some of these things have sound effects. Like, we turn everything on just for us in the evenings, every night, pretty much, from September to end of October, beginning of November. And that's,
I'm pretty sure end of August you're like, I'm getting spooky too.
Well, it's more so, yes. It's more so because I'm like, I mean, I'm staring at it right now. Like, it sits in this storage space that we basically use as our live stream studio. And I'm just like, man, I really want to set this up, but it's not like socially accepted to set it up, and we're going to have company this weekend. But Spooky Town during the months of August, I'll just expand to August to probably early November. That's how we decorate. That's like our dose of spooky. And I wish we weren't running out of room because I would love to expand it, but
Yeah.
we do have a limited amount of space.
We don't have room to store them, and we don't have room to display them. But something that we do display pretty much all year round are our scaredy bears. So
Yes.
thank you, Sapphire.
We should have got that one.
Yeah, we have our little pumpkin guy.
Get the pumpkin one.
The other ones are out in our living room.
We have 4 scaredy bears now. No, you have to turn on.
Oh, yeah, you can see his lit up face.
So, Sapphire in the comments, if you're unfamiliar with what she does on the day-to-day, in addition to making crazy good vlogs from places like Laurel's House of Horror, hint hint, go watch it now, she also produces all of these scaredy bears, and we have, as I say, 4 now. Some of them move, some of them dance, some of them light up, some of them just sit there looking cool, but they all have like so many blood, sweat, and tears poured into them.
Yeah.
Like
so we keep those out all year round.
They are so cool. So those, as Katie say, like if we have like a spring one, a summer one, a winter one, a Christmas one now.
Yeah, the Christmas one is the only one that's not displayed all year round. I do like to bring that one out for Christmas.
That one is a special occasion.
Yeah.
So in answer to the question, like, do we
like to look
year?
Look every year. We're probably not buying a whole lot anymore, but we do like to decorate, and it's fun to look.
Until or unless we have a larger space or trade some decorations in for other ones. Which brings me to another interesting point. If anyone wants to buy a semi-large Spirit Halloween animatronic from us, lightly used, it's sitting in a storage unit right now, and it's probably never going to find a place. The
vampire that angles upside down.
I love that thing, but I have no space for it anymore. I missed so many comments while I was going on my rant.
It was all about, I think, the spooky town.
Ooh, Halloween music. I like that too. That's why I tried to find a spooky song to play in the background.
Oh, shout out to Laurel, because Laurel's House of Horror, because during Sapphire's video, when they did the pre-show, I definitely heard the Halloween Town theme, and that made me happy.
Wait, the Halloween Town,
like the Disney movie.
This is Halloween Town.
No.
But like,
No, Halloween Town, as in like the Disney made for the Disney Channel original movie. Loved it.
This is Halloween. This is. Now I got that one stuck in my head.
Yeah, it's fine.
Agreed. All right. What's the next question?
I have a feeling.
Oh, I bet I know what it is too. Hold on. This is an easy one. We won't spend much time on this one.
All right. The next
ready?
official question.
Ready? Candy corn. Love it or hate it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hate it.
Hate
it.
To eat it.
No. Hate it. Okay. I see what you're saying. It's fun to look at. Like
I love the candy corn aesthetic. I like the colors. I like
orange, white, and yellow.
No, but I lost one of them, so I can't wear them anymore. But I had like candy corn earrings for Halloween, and they were so cute. And
I guess you've got that Loungefly bag that's candy corn style.
Yeah, it's got like Mickey with like definitely the candy corn colors on it. But I do not like to eat it. It's just I can't eat it. I used to eat it as a kid, especially the pumpkins, and I think maybe it was one of those like overindulging things. It's just no.
It is indiscriminately sweet. Like to the point where like it's just
like pasty sweetness.
Well, you know how like chocolate can be too rich? Like candy corn is too sweet. Like it's just too.
You think chocolate can be too rich? I like rich dark chocolate.
Which doesn't make any sense, because then why do you hate candy corn? Because that's what I hate about candy corn.
Because it's too sweet. Rich dark chocolate isn't sweet. It can be more bitter, which I like.
Anyway, we both hate candy corn.
We don't like candy corn. We don't like to eat it. I love the aesthetic. Don't like the taste.
Yeah, it's a nice color combination, but you can get those color combinations from anywhere. It doesn't have to come from the candy. Bring home the candy.
I don't want to get rid of it as a concept. I just don't want to.
You don't want to take the candy corn away from the children, but you don't want to see it in your house.
I don't want it to be. I don't want to consume. I don't mind looking at it.
All right. Not a lot to say on that one, so we'll move on to this one. Are you big into costumes and dressing up for Halloween? If so, what's your favorite costume of all time? This is an interesting question to ask people who partake in the haunted attraction experience, because Katie and I are at odds on how to define this.
All right, so we'll go with my interpretation first, because I think mine is correct. So I believe the question...
Interesting.
I believe the question is saying, are you big into dressing up for Halloween? Meaning,
Halloween night.
Do you put on a costume or attend Halloween parties or functions in costume? And if so, what was your favorite one you've ever done? So I guess the answer is yes. I was raised on Halloween. I loved getting dressed up and going out trick-or-treating. As an adult, haven't done it as much. We actually spent... Well, I think this is a question later, so I won't give it away too much. But recently got to kind of experience trick-or-treat life again at Oogie Boogie Bash in October in Disney California Adventure Park. And I dressed up as Mabel from Gravity Falls, which was, and Tim was Dipper, and our friend Kaylee.
I was there.
So I got to be in a costume. Honestly, it was so much fun because a ton of other guests and cast members recognized us, and if
characters
people in costume,
Frozen,
characters,
Goofy,
were like, we know who you are.
They figured out very quickly they could illustrate like the book and what. Yeah,
it was so fun. So that was it's a simple costume. It's definitely not scary, but it was really fun, and it was fun to trick or treat. Yes, Sapphire. Yes. Now I've got the theme song in my head. It's great. Love it. So yeah, I loved that. It was super fun. It was fun to go trick-or-treating inside the park again. And yeah, it was a great time. So that's what I would say. But Tim has a different interpretation of the question.
And I think this kind of touches on it, what Pan was posting here, because having been... Both of us have done haunt acting at this point. Like, we've both been at Laurel's House of Horror. Katie's done Field of Screams. I may or may not be doing Field of Screams at some point in the future. Time will tell. But in the haunt industry, as many of the haunters watching this stream will know, you develop characters. You develop personas. You create your own costumes sometimes. Sometimes not. Sometimes you borrow things from other people, and I think that's totally okay. But, like, part of the fun of getting into a haunt, I mean acting at a haunt, building things at a haunt, is that you get to kind of conceptualize a character of your own and build backstories and develop skit lines and all of that. So Pan plays a character that I can't mention except for very carefully, because 3 times and he appears in my living room.
That.
So, but that being an IP-related character kind of straddles the line between, like, is this a character that is a haunt character, or is this a character that is a movie character that I'm dressing up as? I genuinely feel, and I know AJ mentioned, like, clowns earlier.
Clowns, yeah.
Like, I genuinely feel like building a character at a haunt, that's part of dressing up for Halloween. Like, you're not necessarily dressing up on Halloween night. You're not necessarily dressing up as a known character. But how many times have you been at well, this might be a loaded question because not everyone goes to comic conventions. I was going to say, how many times have we been at comic conventions and walked up on someone and be like, what's your character? It looks really cool. And they'd be like, oh, this is an original character. Like, where's the line now? Because I feel like if you're dressing up, then you're dressing up. And it's all fun and games regardless. Like, it's fun to be an actor at an actual haunt. It's fun to be an actor playing an IP character at a Halloween party. Like, it's all in celebration of the same thing. It's just a different level of intensity and to some extent a different level of commitment. But I do think that my favorite character that I've dressed up as was Twinkle Coldstone.
Christmas iteration or the second?
Christmas iteration.
Okay.
They're both Christmas iterations. It's just I expanded the Twinkleverse in directions I wasn't fully prepared to expand it to. So we're gonna have a Twinkleverse incursion of sorts. As time goes on. There's gonna be more and more versions.
Crisis on Infinite Christmases or something.
Crisis of Infinite Twinkles.
Yeah. Yeah. We got you, Rose. We'll keep it on.
We'll keep it on the
lockdown.
Well, we got 2 freebies, right? And then the third one is the problem. So if we slip up twice, that's fine. But we got to watch ourselves. Anyway, I have obviously done a lot of photos and videos as Twinkle Goldstone. I didn't bother bringing one into the presentation to show you guys, but if you're unfamiliar, he's the character that I played at Laurel's House of Horror at Christmas one year, and then the following year tried to recreate him. Didn't quite work out the way that I thought it was going to, so wound up just rebranding him as a different Twinkle.
I think other actors will say they've done variations on their characters.
Yeah.
So.
Frantics, Manics.
Yeah. Thing.
It can happen.
Yep.
So
I think like Dinwiddie's definitely been like, I don't know if this character's Dinwiddie, and then it's like, nah, it's Dinwiddie. It's just like a different thing.
I don't know. Can Twinkle be farmed out?
That's up to you, buddy.
I think Twinkle may be tied to a location. I think we might have to create a new character for
Crinkle.
We'll see. Crinkle. Crinkle.
Warm blood.
Anyway,
I
think the consensus is that dressing up for a haunt and creating a character for a haunt is the same as dressing up for Halloween. It's just, again, some people get paid to do it, some people have different levels of commitment, but it's all the same task, just different masks. So, having said that, this is a tricky Marvel-esque question for us.
This is a loaded question.
Okay. What is one activity or experience that is on your spooky season bucket list this year? And I will say, those last 2 words are what make it dangerous for because
I first read the question and I thought spooky season bucket list. And I'm like, okay, well, we definitely have a bucket
tons
list.
Of stuff. Yeah.
But then it was like, this year makes it seem like, what are you committed to trying?
I don't think we need to take it quite so seriously. But I will say that, like,
I do.
What I think I want to say for our bucket list this year, which I hope I'm not going to die at the end of this year, but who knows? Things happen. So I don't know if I'd call this a bucket list. We are trying to do some new haunts this year. We would really like to see some places that we've not seen before. That may mean spending less time in this area where we have covered the ground pretty thoroughly, but it also means that, like, year over year, there's going to be new places that we want to see, want to go to, and we're going to try to get a little further each time.
Yeah.
I don't know how possible that's going to be. We're already talking to some folks that we spoke to at East Coast Haunters, and hopefully some of that sets up. I can't commit to anything publicly right now because our schedule's in a state of flux. But the hope is that this year will bring some new haunts into our portfolio is the wrong word.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, the places that we have been, the places that we have seen, we've loved every single haunted attraction that we visited, and we want to visit more.
Yeah.
So, but broader, if we're talking beyond this year, like you originally interpreted it, like places that we definitely want to hit, but will definitely not hit this year: Salem, Haunted Overload, places in Louisiana, New Orleans area. Well, 13th Floor and 13th Door are both haunts that I want to visit. Neither is in Louisiana.
They're all. What was the one that was?
The gates. Something about gates.
13th Gate.
It might be 13th Gate.
I think that's the one that's in Louisiana.
I can't remember.
I remember 13.
Pan also brought up Epic Universe, Dark Universe specifically, which is another bucket list item for us. And honestly, like, as bucket lists go, that one's a pretty easy target.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone but us is going this year. I don't know that we're going to go next year either, to be honest, because we kind of already have some plans that we've penciled in, and Florida might not fit. But we'll see. Like, it's definitely on the list. At the moment, we are dodging and ducking every single Epic Universe story that pops up in our feed. So we have actually...
We're trying to preserve a little bit of it for...
I mean, I've seen plenty. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get around.
All that being said, we literally were following along the build, like, up until, like, what was that, Theme Park Stop or whatever, the Theme Park Stop channel, where they were just talking about, like, showing aerial views concept art, all this stuff, the patents. Like we know what's there. We're just trying to preserve we're not watching vlogs. We're not doing anything like that. By all means, like do that if you want to. We're not telling you no. We're just trying to give ourselves some distance and whatnot.
And it's the same thing with me in Marvel movies. Like there's a difference between knowing something and seeing something for me. Like I don't care if I do some homework and I discover like, oh, there's this theory that this might happen in this movie. Like I'm like, I could see that happening, and I start piecing it together in my mind. But I'm such a visual person that like if someone leaks a clip to me and it's the exact same thing I already knew, but if someone leaks a clip to me before I've had a chance to see the movie, I'm like, why would you do that? And they're like, I thought you liked spoilers. And I'm like, no, I like knowing things. I don't like seeing things. I want to see them for myself. Anyway, so that's why I know Epic Universe right now. I do want to respond to Crystal's comment about going other places. I think we can do both. Like, there's no rule that says we have to go to the same haunt every year. There's no rule that says we have to go to a new haunt every year, even. But like, it's a combination of like we do want to, because we're talking about Field of Screams in this place for those who don't know. Like Field of Screams does something new and different and cool every single year, and we have a found family at Field of Screams and at Laurel's House of Horror and at Fright Farm and at Lincoln Mill. Like everywhere we go, we know people, we love people, and we absolutely hate the thought of not seeing those people during a season, because like this is to us it's home. Like this is the environment that we love more than anything, and we only get to see them like at one point every year, really, except during off-season events which come and go. So it's more so like our hearts are torn than it is like logistically or strategically it's not possible. Like I want to be everywhere all the time. And honestly, like what may wind up happening, and this, I don't know how everyone's going to feel about this, but we may wind up just like some of the places that we know and love, we may just, not film as much as time goes on. We're still going to this year. Like we already planned to come out and do like vlogs from Field and Laurel this year. It's already on the calendar. But new places are calling to us a little bit too. Like we want to get out and explore more, and we only have so much time every year. So
that's always a problem. Is it's for some haunts it's 4 weeks, for some it's only 6, 7. That's kind of pushing it. And when you are, as most of us do, have a Monday through Friday and really can only explore these on the weekends when they're open, it's really tough to try to fit in as many as we can. But we do like to see our friends and what they're doing and what's new with them, so it's tough. It's really tough.
I actually have a question for AJ, because I know that a couple of the actors at Laurel's House of Horror are Fright Fest actors at Six Flags America. And if you guys will surely know, but if you in the comments do not know, Six Flags America in Bowie has recently announced that this is their last operating year. So I know that Fright Fest is still happening. My question is, are you guys still acting at Fright Fest this year? Because if so, I would encourage everyone to try and pop in on what's going to be probably the last Fright Fest in this area for quite a while, if not forever. So you can drop your answer in the comments, AJ. I'll let you have the floor on that one. But if you haven't been to Six Flags America, and we have many times, so it's not the end of the world. We grew up on Six Flags America, but for those who haven't visited, especially if you're a theme park enthusiast or an amusement park enthusiast, coaster enthusiast, or a haunt enthusiast who's never been to Fright Fest, like this might be your last chance to check it out. Okay. On to the next thing. Wait, not on to the next thing. Hold on. Oh, that's sarcasm. Hold on.
I was going to say, I was like...
So, yes.
That's what and for our, there's a lot of people in the chat who work for haunts or are actors and whatnot, and we know that you spend a lot of your season in one place because you want to work there and you want to act. So it's that much harder, I know, for you guys to get out there and explore new places, which is also why it's so cool to see in the off-season events different people from different haunts getting to to act there or
Yeah.
visit other haunts.
The
So it's
actors
really cool.
are a community that will jump from haunt to haunt to haunt.
Yeah.
So like you won't necessarily only see one actor at one haunt, but there are some haunts that for some actors are home. And when your home is suddenly uprooted, like that's a hard thing. So like I am a little bit sad for everyone who calls Fright Fest home. I'm also just like in general, like I don't think that everyone's going to be able to make it there this year. So, but to AJ's point, like they are acting at Fright Fest for the last time this year. So make sure if you really want to experience Fright Fest, this is your last chance to do it. Make sure to get out.
Yep.
I also want to know what haunts are open on Thursdays. I know Field is towards the end of the season, but I don't know what else is. So hit me with that list. Hit me with that list. We already covered this, Jared.
Yeah.
If you were on time.
If you were on time when we were having technical difficulties and couldn't get the live stream started. Yeah, we're going.
We will be at Harrah's.
Only, in case you didn't notice, we were absent at everyone else's halfway event, so we are going to Harrah's.
We are going to Harrah's. All right. Next question. This is another one that will inspire conversation.
Working, Jared. What's working?
Working? We don't do work around here, sir. We only do Halloween.
Yeah. Halloween haunts 365. Come on, it's in the name.
To be fair, it doesn't say 36524.
She just thinks about Halloween once a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Okay.
I'm kidding, Jared. Thank you for joining the live stream. Anytime you see
everyone, please check out Halloween Haunts 365 because they're great people and I feel bad for ruining them. Okay. What book series or movie screams Halloween to you? And it has to be Halloween in all caps.
Oh.
So if it doesn't scream Halloween, it can't go on the list.
I didn't really realize that was oriented like that.
Ooh, Pan named mine right out of the gate.
Oh, yep.
Okay. So
that's one.
We had a list.
Yeah,
we did have a list. This was at the top of mine.
We have 5 movies that we said we almost watch every single year at least once.
We do watch every single year at least once.
Yeah.
But we had to shave a lot of other movies off the list that we almost always watch, but we don't always watch.
Mine is Hocus Pocus.
Done.
Every year since I have seen that movie so many times. I watched it every year on Disney Channel. We bought it on DVD and then we watched it then, and now I own it on Blu-ray, and sometimes we'll put it, and sometimes it's just when we're like out and about at a haunt, it's on TV and then I watch it again. I love Hocus Pocus. That movie raised me and my family. I love that movie.
That movie raised you.
Yeah. Love it.
Hocus Pocus is, I think, popular in our age group, but also clearly.
I'm glad it's stuck. It's.
I think if anything, even though the sequel wasn't all bad, it did generate some hype for the original.
Yeah,
which
true.
I have a theory that I've borrowed from threads and Reddit that Disney is just releasing really bad sequels and live action remakes to get you hyped on the originals. Like to get you to like watch it and then be like, that was disgusting. I'm gonna go watch the original animated classic. And I'm like, that actually makes some sense.
Yep.
That's 100% why How to Train Your Dragon. Although I don't think that movie looked bad, it just looks unnecessary. Everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people also mentioned Halloween.
Yeah.
Now, Halloween, I didn't grow up on.
I've never seen it.
Y'all are gonna hate me so much. I can't stand Jamie Lee Curtis. I despise her.
He does have a vendetta against Jamie Lee
she
Curtis.
is. I really don't like her as a person, but I also think she's a very flat actress. So I don't enjoy seeing her on screen. That is just my opinion. That is not biblical fact, but I will say that like it has deterred me from enjoying Halloween for as long as I've been alive. So I've seen it. I've seen all of them. Actually, I've seen the remakes, and I think that like The Rob Zombie remakes are slightly more enjoyable to me because no Jamie Lee Curtis. But I also think that, like, in general, Michael Myers is not perhaps my definitive Halloween icon the way he is for so many other people. Trick or Treat, on the other hand, that is my like top Halloween movie that we watch. We do watch that one every Halloween. We never miss that one.
Yep.
Nightmare Before Christmas was on our list, and then we cut it off because she was like, well, we don't watch it every year. Yeah. Sometimes we watch it at Christmas.
I listen to the soundtrack though I had the CD growing up. I would put it on, and now I have like the Apple Music or whatever. Yeah, I don't use Spotify. I play through it multiple times. I love the soundtrack. Danny Elfman's a genius. Love it.
Where's the unsubscribe button? Listen, I get it. That's fine.
Hey,
we had a good run.
Hey, but he Jared agrees that he doesn't particularly find Jamie Lee Curtis. Because it takes place.
It's both. It is both.
It straddles.
It takes
the
place
Halloween
during both Halloween and Christmas in the same way that Die Hard is an action movie, but also a Christmas movie. I would say Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie.
The very first song Jack sings, he says, "I just can't wait until next." Well, no, he's like something about Halloween. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into it.
That was good. That was
really good.
Strong argument. Let's move on before anyone has time to poke holes in
they're
it.
singing like this is Halloween because it's Halloween, right? So then they're talking about Halloween.
Halloween.
That one was really cute, actually.
I have only seen that once, but we did watch it. Like, we did watch it when it was new.
I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but it was actually really cute.
It was cute. Adam Sandler surprises me sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say he's a good actor. He has been a good actor in some things, but
I think he just plays himself.
Adam Sandler as a character is really fun to watch, and Jamie Lee Curtis as a character is really not for me personally. But
yeah.
House of a Thousand Corpses is a little
I've never seen
more grotesque than I think we tend to lean.
Are we talking about the like original one or the remake?
I'm assuming both are qualified.
Right, feel free to clarify.
But I will say, like, I have weird, like, Hellraiser 2 is kind of like a safe space for me too, and that's some people would think I'm demented for that, so I'm not going to pick on anyone here. Scream is a really good one. I have seen all the Scream movies. Ken also picked House of a Thousand Corpses and Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, that's a good one.
Ghostbusters Afterlife was a perfect film, and I will die on that hill.
It was.
Frozen Empire, less so, but it didn't need to be. Like, it really, like...
They were never going to beat Afterlife.
They were never going to beat Afterlife. I would say Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. That is the trilogy I needed. And everything else is just icing.
It's there.
It's there. You can enjoy it or you cannot.
Except for the remake with the women. Sorry, that one. That one we don't enjoy.
You're going to get us canceled.
I know. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary.
It's not a bad movie because of the acting talent. It's a bad movie because the script is awful. And it had nothing to do with the original Ghostbusters.
That's true. Yeah. Things getting heated in the chat. Let's go.
Oh man, we started fights. Starting fights about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep. That's fine. This is it's all good.
Hey, did you see this one?
I know. I don't know if I can't remember if you were on or not, Sapphire. When I mentioned Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark as the book series, but we thought the movie was like, it didn't land for me. I loved the character, like Guillermo del Toro did like the character design for the monsters, and I think they were great. I think it was the story that just kind of fell flat for me. But hey, everyone can like what they like.
If only we had our own Halloween movie. Tim and Katie's Halloween. Historically, it would be bad.
It would be really bad.
What were the other? We mentioned 2, 3.
It was Trick or Treat, Hocus
Pocus. Oh,
Monster House.
Monster House.
Monster House.
13.
You guys never seen Monster House? It's so good. It's so good.
13 Ghosts with Matthew Lillard and Tony Shalhoub. And then there was one mid-range one that we have
We're just gonna blow by 13 Ghosts like that?
Well, I was intending to blow by all three, but you wanted to get stuck on Monster House for a second. Do you want to talk about 13 Ghosts? Go ahead. We're only an hour in. We still got more to go.
No, we're fine. 13 Ghosts. It was one of the first. So I know I've told this story before. Was not majorly into horror movies when we first started going out for 12, 13 years ago. I had seen like The Sixth Sense, and like that was kind of it. But he showed me 13 Ghosts as kind of like this isn't too scary, it's got a good story kind of stuff. And I also love Tony Shalhoub, Galaxy Quest, Monk, things that also raised me. And the funny thing is, liked it.
The funny thing is, Tony Shalhoub actually wears the exact same thing in 13 Ghosts that he wore in Monk. That was the Monk uniform that he wore. And I don't know who made that decision, but I'm like, you could literally, people have done it. You cut scenes from 13 Ghosts with scenes from Monk, and it becomes like a trailer for Mr. Monk and the House of Horrors or something. Like, it's so funny that someone made that choice. But
also, not spoiling anything, but the beginning of that movie I think is just one of the most like compelling and well done. It kind of gives me
the storytelling in the credits.
Like it goes in a camera pans around and a whole story is told, and like when I can't really describe it, but
inside 2 minutes you get the whole backstory with audio. And
the only other movie I think visuals that kind of does the same thing is the beginning of Up. Yep, great movie. 13 Ghosts.
It is good. I don't want to watch it now.
Did we get all of them?
No, you cut me off before I got to the last
what
one.
Was the last one?
And now the last one's not going to be as impressive because it was never going to be.
Oh, what was it?
Scooby-Doo!
I thought you took Scooby-Doo off the list last night.
I absolutely did not take Scooby-Doo off the list last night. I took Nightmare Before Christmas off.
Are you going to clarify which Scooby-Doo?
It is the live-action Scooby-Doo from James Gunn by Matthew Lillard and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Linda Cardellini. Yeah, everyone is great.
Spooky Island.
It is good.
I like how your voice went like, God.
It's just fun. It's stupid and fun. Like, I just love it. I can't justify it. I know it's not that good a movie, but it's like good to me.
So fun fact, I went to see that movie in theaters when I was, I don't know, like 8 years old or something, because I knew it was advertised that the trailer for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets would play before that movie. Because back in the day, kids, you had to actually go to the movie theater to see movie trailers. They weren't on YouTube. They weren't popping up everywhere. You couldn't, and they didn't release like 5 of them before the movie started. You got like a trailer, and if you wanted to see it, you had to go to the movies to see it. So, fun fact. And now I watched.
You didn't actually comment on how you liked the film. You just said you went to see it.
And
then did a tirade about how old we are.
I grew up on like classic, like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Like the same like 15 episodes. You know, the 70s music, all that stuff. Like that's what I grew up on. So when I went to see it, I wasn't that impressed as a kid. I'll be honest. The movie's grown on me. I now understand that it stars, you know, horror movie icons and, you know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and things like that. And it's the
Scream.
And, you know, Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I get that. And that's cool. And Matthew Lillard is a perfect Shaggy. So
much so that Matthew Lillard actually took over the role of Shaggy for the animated films moving forward, which was still at that time coming direct to DVD.
I think it's grown on me. It didn't land for me as a kid, so I kind of was like, really, we're gonna watch this? And now, you know, 13 years of dating and 6 years of marriage later, I can appreciate that.
What's so funny is that most people know who James Gunn is right now. No one knew who James Gunn was back then. And James Gunn directed the Scooby-Doo movie, the live-action version, as well as the follow-up Monsters Unleashed, which I still enjoy. It's not as good, but I still enjoy it. I have both. And I will say that James Gunn, to this very day, I honestly don't think he's the greatest human. He's a really good director. I think he's a little bit egotistical, and I find him tiresome to see and like to hear him speak. He absolutely hates the Scooby-Doo movie because his version that he wanted to make when he was directing
not gonna be for
was
children.
very adult. It was going to be more like the Venture Brothers. Like it was going to be like wildly inappropriate for kids. It was going to be targeting a more adult audiences. There were going to be a lot more jokes about drugs, alcohol, sex that never made it into the film. Honestly, like Warner Brothers put the kibosh on that because they wanted Scooby-Doo to remain family friendly,
accessible. Yep.
And the movie has, you know, its little fart jokes and whatever, but like I honestly do think that like as many mistakes, and they have made a lot of mistakes, as Warner Brothers has made since that film has released, they were right on that one because the movie that we got was great. Like it was so great.
Part of me is like kind of want to see now that I'm in my 30s what that adult edit would have been.
Oh yeah. For
also,
sure, I want to see it, but I also don't want to put it on a pedestal as the original because the original is the one I have.
Well, I mean, look, we just watched a whole documentary how the same thing happened with Galaxy Quest, where it was going to be a lot. If you've not seen Galaxy Quest, do. You know, this spoof on Star Trek movie was going to be a lot more adult, and Paramount got a hold of it and was like, no, it's kids movie, make it PG. And they had to do a lot of cuts too. And I feel the same way. Like, I feel like it wouldn't have been, I don't think it would have landed like it did. And I wouldn't have been able to watch it as like an 8-year-old. So sometimes the studios get a hold of movies and it does turn out for the better. Sometimes it doesn't.
Most times it doesn't. But this time it did. I agree that Casper is a Halloween movie, and Casper Meets Wendy that much more so.
Yeah.
Quick responses.
I know we were ranting about our movies for a while.
Crystal brought up the Rugrats episode where the parents built a home haunt. I do remember that, and I love it. And I didn't even grow up on Nickelodeon, so I was all into like the spooky kids shows back in the day, even before I was big on.
We built a small little home haunt before we refinished our basement. It was fun. Ken
said Addams Family, which I accept as a great film. I think Wednesday is even better than any of the Addams Family movies were back in the day. But I'm willing to fight. Can you make a Scooby-Doo costume for Halloween? No. But I will give due credit to the Laurel's House of Horror girls,
the Hex Girls,
for putting on the Hex Girls almost exclusively for me, because as soon as I heard that they were thinking about it, I was like, please.
I bought a shirt.
I will throw myself on the floor. I will throw money at you. Just make it happen.
Yep.
So, yes. That was a fun night. That's what we did for Halloween last year, and it was worth it. And then Pan had the sub-question, what is your music or soundtrack on October 1st? My answer is embarrassing, but it has recently become the Halloween Loween song from Disneyland.
Oh, that's not embarrassing.
I mean, it is in the haunt community. It's not in the Disney community.
Well, I will... To give you back some cred, he's constantly listening to the Hellraiser soundtrack.
I love the Hellraiser
constantly.
Soundtrack. It's so good.
It's on all the time. He goes to the shower, Hellraiser. We're in the car, Hellraiser. Always. We actually have like a haunt kind of season playlist that sometimes when we're heading to like field or something, we'll put it on, and it's got like music from Hellraiser, and it's got what's the one?
Dead Silence.
Yeah, Dead Silence, and no, the one, the umbrella. The one with the Resident Evil.
I can't help you. You're just throwing.
All I could think of was the Umbrella Corporation.
Hot dogs, rubber ducks.
Resident Evil. So we did listen to that all the time. I don't know if you caught Pam, but I do listen to the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack during spooky season a lot. I also like to play, like, honestly, there's this generic, like, Halloween Apple Music playlist, which kind of rocks. It has a lot.
I
was just gonna say, and that one song from the Lost Boys. Never Always here.
Shall not fall. Anyway, okay. We have to move on. We still got 2 more. This
like
is,
you didn't think we were gonna rest on that question for a little bit.
I mean,
also people have good comments.
How do you typically spend your Halloween night?
There has been nothing typical about Halloween for us since we got married.
There's been variants, yeah.
Yeah.
So we, last year, as I mentioned, we went to Laurel's House of Horror, and that was a great time. Not only because we got to see the whole crew that in peak, because like as things get closer and closer to Halloween, it gets busier and busier at certain haunted attractions that are easier to get to. Laurel's is smack dab in the middle of the DMV, so everyone who's anyone is going to come out to Halloween night there. And yes, we had the Hex Girls. Yes, it was awesome. Yes, there are pictures on Instagram. Yes, you should go check them out. But also, there have been other years where we went to Markov's Haunted Forest for Halloween, and that was great. Busy, but great. There have been years where we just sat at home watching Trick or Treat and waiting for trick-or-treaters to come through. And unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, like the trick-or-treaters have just dropped right on off since COVID. So we don't do as much of that anymore. Now we tend to put out like the candy, typical like take one, and we expect to come home and find nothing left, because that's.
But there was plenty left last night.
Sometimes kids are good. Not all the time, but sometimes.
We also live on the 3rd floor, so I think if they're gonna come apartment hunting, they're gonna be like, what's on the 1st floor, and then bounce.
I will say what I like about Field of Screams and a couple of other haunts that we've been to frequently in the fall season is that we know Field stays open for a couple weekends after Halloween's over. Mm-hmm. So we don't typically bust our butts to get to Field on Halloween night, knowing that the following week or the week after, we're still going to be able to experience it one more time. Now, granted, like we have had experiences at certain haunted attractions where you wait too long, the energy level drops, and we don't have as many actors where we used to have them. And that can be unfortunate because I feel like towards the peak season in like October, like everyone is open all the time. So you really do need to like put more emphasis on spacing actors out and putting them into play there. But you can't help that people get burnt out either. Yeah. So like it's unfortunate that when the season runs long, we start to lose some people.
Yeah.
Having said that, all of our Halloween experiences have been great, no matter where we've gone. So
sometimes it's cozy at home, sometimes we're out doing stuff. But
one year we went to Dave and Buster's.
We did go to Dave and Buster's one year.
You played Down the Clown. It was great.
I played Down the Clown.
We drank, we played Down the Clown. We got on the Jurassic World VR. It was a good time. Watching people try to win my escape room.
That's a fun time. I will say, Halloween, if we get accepted. Wait. Scaredy Bears may be in Salem on Halloween night.
Is this a formal announcement?
Don't light the black flame candle. Or do. I don't know. Depends on what kind of night you want to have. That is so cool. I hope, fingers crossed for Sap and Scaredy Bears. That's crazy.
And they are not, that whole family is not strangers to Salem, because they do a lot more traveling than we do, even though everyone reveres us as the travelers.
Yeah.
They do a lot more hunts, and we are always jealous of them.
We'll say Halloween is on a Friday this year, so we're going to do something. We just haven't committed to anything yet. So.
Nor will we until like a week before.
Yeah.
It's the only time of year that I make no plan for. All right, this is our last official question, and then I will open it up for the last one. But this is the finale, so to speak, of this whole trajectory, and that's, what does Halloween mean to you? And I will let you answer this first, because my answer is going to be a little bit different than yours.
Yeah, I think so. So I was a Halloween kid. I grew up trick-or-treating, had a great neighborhood for trick-or-treating. My mom and I would decorate, and do like jack-o'-lanterns and things like that. Loved carving pumpkins. It was definitely a part of my childhood. I love definitely where my love of like spooky things was planted and nurtured. Didn't get into like the true horror and haunt aspect till much later, but pumpkins, bats, the vibes, fog, all that kind of stuff, like definitely was my childhood. And so it means a lot. It means fun, it means nostalgia, and it's something that now that I'm married and going out on adventures with this guy, it's something we both enjoy now and get to do together. And Halloween, I think it's also kind of a lifestyle. It's not just one day of the year for me.
Oh, now you're bleeding into my answer.
Yeah. Well, that's that. So it means a lot. It means good memories and nostalgia, and it also is kind of like a state of mind.
Jared and, well, no, not Jared and Terry, just Jared. Jared gives me crap all the time about having a spooky season because, as most of you know, but not everyone, I'm sure, we're not full-time year-round haunters. We would love, anytime there is a spooky event, a spooky pop-up, a haunted house in the area, like we try to go because we do love, and horror movies release in January, February, March, April, all the way through the end of the year. But like our spooky season is typically the months of August to beginning of November. And what we do during the spooky season varies. Obviously, we're going to haunts a lot. We're doing Halloween shopping, whatnot. But for me, the answer to what does Halloween mean to you is it's the time of year when like everyone else is a little bit, it's almost as crazy as we are. Like everyone else is as enthused about the spooky stuff as we are. Everyone else, because like year round, we love to do adventures, we love to do travel, we love to do tourism. The haunts aren't open for us during the rest of the year. We're not full-time haunters. We don't work at any haunted attractions formally. We pitch in, we help out sometimes where we can, but like we're not affiliated with any particular haunted attraction. We're Tim and Katie, and we love going to all haunted attractions. So spooky season means when I see spooky season upcoming, and I do have a countdown app on my phone, when I see spooky season is coming up, my head is whirring like it's going to be a lot of work because we do a lot of vlogs. It's going to be a lot of travel. We're going to be really tired, but also it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of seeing our friends and family in the haunt industry again. It's going to be a lot of like traveling to new places and experiencing new things and getting scared by stupid stuff around the corner and losing your voice because you're screaming so much and having so much fun. And I feel like the biggest thing about Halloween is that it's the time of year when we're all kind of freaks of nature. Like we all dive into the spooky in some degree or another. We all love sitting around and watching horror movies. Even people that normally wouldn't are sitting around and watching horror movies with those of us who watch them every day of the year because we're all in it together for 2 or 3 months. And then those 2 or 3 months come and go, and then suddenly everyone's obsessed with Christmas, and I'm really sad. But that's what Halloween means to me. It's kind of like, oh, we get to see our families again.
That's nice.
That's my end note.
Sappy end note, but true. Thanks,
and
Dad.
then we can bring it all back to
bring
base.
it back. Yeah.
Yes.
I do. Yes, October's vibe. I love the fall. Fall's the best time of year, no matter what. It's always the best. The crisp.
It's not always the best
colors.
weather anymore, but it is my favorite
When
time
it
of
is
year.
ideal, like yes, I mean, it still stinks when you have outdoor plans in the fall and they get ruined by rain. But that like coolness, the sun setting a little earlier, hoodie and sweaters, the leaves changing, it's great.
And as much as we all love our outdoor haunts, I will again plug the 2 haunts that have summer events this year that also will have fall events, which are Harrah's Nightmare and Laurel's House of Horror. They are rain or shine, no matter what. For that matter, Lincoln Mill is also mostly indoors, although you do have to go outside to get inside.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed. We won't jinx it. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. It's going to be a great year, guys. We're super excited. All right. I am going to wrap this up by first putting a creator spotlight on those who tagged us.
Yes.
Which are the Haunt at the Roxbury, Instagram and YouTube, and I guess TikTok, based on what they said. I couldn't find it, but then I don't have TikTok, so I can't search for them.
Yep.
So it's not, I don't know if it's linked directly in their Instagram profile or their YouTube profile, but if you do a search on Haunt at the Roxbury on any platform, you're likely to turn them up. Great home haunt, great people, very supportive of others in the haunt community. Hope to cross paths with them in person someday.
Yeah,
they're a little bit further from us than most other haunts in our area that we network with. So it's on the to-do, but we have to plan a trip. It can't be a one day out and one day back type thing. Yeah. So check out Haunt the Roxbury on Instagram and YouTube. They're really great people and they do a really great job.
Thanks for thinking of us.
Yeah,
this was
thanks for tagging us.
You basically planned a live stream for us.
I've got another one in my
was great. So
yeah, AJ, go ahead and drop the good news in the chat. So in the meantime,
I'm supposed to.
This was our last question on the challenge list, and the reality, as I started looking into planning this live stream, is that most everyone has already answered these questions. Everyone that we typically would go to haunts with or review with or in our review circle has answered the Halfway to Halloween challenge, and those who haven't are about to. Check out Halloween Haunts 365. I think tomorrow, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but I'm pretty sure that you guys have a Halfway to Halloween challenge video coming. Scare Factor released one today.
Yep.
I don't know many other people that haven't answered these questions. So what I'm going to do...
If you're in the chat...
I'm putting it out to you guys.
Yeah.
To you who are in the chat, to you who are watching, to you who are circling back and watching the replay. Like, if you want to tag into this, we are officially, formally more than halfway to Halloween now. So get on the bandwagon. Answer the questions. There's 9 of them. They're all linked in the description, so you can copy and paste and do as you will. But this was fun. This is honestly more fun than I thought it was going to be when I started putting together, like, I have a lot to say about.
Yeah, and we honestly were like, there probably won't be like 3 people here, and there wasn't. There was a good group, and y'all were engaging with each other and letting us know your thoughts on the questions. So thank you so much.
And those in the chat who are haunts, home haunts or otherwise, please feel free to broadcast yourselves, and everyone do check them out because they are going to have an awesome year and we hope to be part of it. Speaking of good year, Fright Fest may get some new things for our zones, may try to get a dance party for the actors. That's awesome. Also, yes, if you're interested in checking out Fright Fest at Six Flags America, this is the last year to do it, so keep that in mind when you plan your season.
Yep.
We love you too. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a blast, and if you feel like doing the challenge, tag us so that you know we know that you came from here.
Yeah.
And we would be delighted to check out your answers too.
Hope to see as many of you as we can at Harrah's on Saturday.
And in the meantime, I will say one last time when our next live stream is, because towards the beginning we mentioned it, it's actually not going to be 2 weeks from today. It's going to be next week.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks from today will be your birthday.
It will.
And we will be out of pocket.
We tossed around doing it on my birthday, and I was like, but what if I don't feel like it?
we'll be out of pocket that night, but we will be doing a live stream next week. It will not be haunt themed. We're transitioning on to the main events of the summertime, but if any of you are interested in checking us out, that's when we'll be around next. Until next time, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. I've been Tim.
I'm Katie.
And every night
is a new adventure.
And we will see you again soon.